Started. Welcome, everybody. We'll get started as we get more people into the room. We have people joining us still. All right. Seems to have slowed down a bit. All right. I will just note that this is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So good afternoon, everybody. If you're on the East Coast, good morning to everybody else in a different time zone. My name is Maria Thacker Gothi. I am co-founder and secretary for the Life Sciences Workforce Collaborative, and we're excited to have you with us today for our second Best Workforce Strategies Roundtable. This particular roundtable is going to be focused on early career awareness. I will say, if you ever have ideas for a roundtable, please feel free to share it with us at connect@lifesciencesworkforce.org or drop it into the chat. We're always open to ideas and hearing what the community across the country who's passionate about life sciences, workforce building, and talent work wants to hear more about. So with that, I want to tell you a little bit more about the collaborative quite briefly. For those that are newer to our community, the Life Sciences Workforce Collaborative is a national network of state and regional life science associations and institutes, as well as other partners that are working towards building a life science pipeline for our industry. Together, we represent a unique industry-led perspective on workforce, one that's really grounded in employer needs, regional ecosystems, and a shared learning across the states. There is an echo. If all my fellow panelists could just go on mute to be safe, that'd be great. Thank you. If there's still an echo, I'm getting head shaking. No, there isn't, so it might be on your end. Our focus is simple as an organization, but it's critical. How do we build, align, and scale the talent pipeline needed to support a continued growth of the life sciences sector? And that really will bring us to our next, to the conversation today. If you go to the next slide for me. These are all of our collaborators. Oh, sorry. There we go. Partners and collaborators. If you're interested in getting engaged with us, becoming a partner collaborator, whether you're, a government entity, an academic institution, or a service provider to the industry, please feel free to reach out on our website. With just over 50 of our we've had over 50 collaborators since we gained our 501c3 status and launched last May and June of 2025. So diving into today's conversation, why are we talking about early career awareness and why does it matter? So if at the visit actually here in Georgia where I sit, one of the commissioners during his presentation said, if we don't have workforce for biotech, you don't have the building blocks to succeed. So we really liked that reference. And this quote from the National Security Commission on Emerging Biotech's commissioner, and that really stuck with us. That's a powerful reminder that workforce is not just a talent issue, it's also an innovation issue, an economic competitive issue, and increasingly a national priority. And at the same time, we see a growing conversation about improving bioliteracy as a country, an idea that not just scientists, but our broader population needs a foundational understanding of biotech and its role in our world. But here's the challenge. In many cases, students in the US don't encounter biotech, medtech, life sciences, however you want to define it, or even understand that careers in this sector exist until college, if at all. So that means we're asking students to make career decisions without exposure, without context, and often without access. And that's where early career awareness becomes so important. And this isn't about inspiring interests, though that matters, of course. It's also about building a sustainable workforce pipeline, expanding access and equity, and high quality careers, and ensuring the next gen of talent reflects a full and diverse potential of our communities. So there are a number of innovative efforts across the country that are already underway working to try and address this, engaging students early, equipping teachers, and to create clearer and more visible pathways into the life sciences. And that's what we're here to explore today, a few of these programs. So we have a fantastic group of speakers who are leading work in this effort in different but highly complementary ways. And we're excited to share and learn from their experiences with you all. One of the main priorities of the collaborative is to share some best practices. So this directly aligns with one of our efforts and mandates. So to get us started, I'm going to invite each speaker to briefly spotlight their program and the work they're doing in just a few minutes, and then we'll dive into more of a Q&A to understand how it's been impactful, and have a broader discussion to explore their ideas and what they're doing in greater depth. So with that, I'm thrilled to invite Ann Vogel, the Senior VP of Charitable Programs at the iBio Institute in Chicago, Illinois, where she leads initiatives like STEM Girls that engage young students in hands-on STEM learning and introduce them to careers in the life sciences. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ann and ask her to unmute while I go on mute.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Maria. And thanks for inviting me to speak with you today. iBio Institute is the charity arm of iBio, which is the industry organization representing and supporting the life sciences community for the state of Illinois. As Maria mentioned, many workforce development strategies focus on people who are already in the pipeline, but it's very specific. The data show there's a very narrow window where girls either opt out of STEM and sort of walk away for good. And so I want to make the case that investing in very early stage workforce development is not just good education policy, but it's actually a smart workforce strategy. We can go to the next slide. I want to start with some specific data, not just on the girls and the reasons why they opt out. We have this data, it's cited below, but this is from a large scale survey of students across the country, supported by Patel. We have some good news. So girls' interest in STEM is up 10% overall, with 20% percentage point gains in that critical 5th through 6th grade window. We also know from this survey and others that confident girls are 20% more likely to engage in STEM and continue their interest in STEM. But the bad news is that girls' confidence has absolutely plummeted. It is down to 59% believing they're good at math and science from 73% in 2017. So this most recent survey was conducted in 2022-23. We know that confidence and interest rise and fall together. So if you lose one, you lose them both. And so this is quite bad news. If you can go to the next slide. So that is some of the problem is creating confident, competent girls early. So here's one of the solutions. Our STEM Girls program is where girls become scientists. STEM Girls is a week-long hands-on summer camp for elementary and middle school girls, 3rd through 8th grade. We have multiple locations throughout Illinois, and we're launching a Chicago-based camp this summer. Each camp is built around an annual theme, which is drawn directly from industry. So the themes and the activities are current, they're relevant, they're career focused and career connected. We're now in our 10th year. Our focus, if confidence building and STEM identity are the critical components to keeping girls in the pipeline, that is what we're focused on. It's 5 days. Yes, we're doing authentic science experiments, but our focus is on building confidence, building a STEM identity, and a sense that a career in this industry is possible for our campers. You can go to the next slide. So industry, we can go to the next slide. Yep. Industry partnership is really the engine of the camp. Our corporate partners, they do provide funding, but they're also co-investors in the camp. So they provide volunteer mentorship, they host our field trips for the girls, they participate in family outreach, and they make sure that the curriculum is relevant and important for, you know, current scientific and current for what's going on in the field. The scientists and professionals don't provide and directly do any of the instruction. They're just there as to serve as role models and professional mentors. Their job is to get the girls to persist through any problems that they encounter when they're doing their design and builds. Obviously the impact on our partners is it's just an amazing employee engagement opportunity to engage with real girls in the community and to build that long-term workforce pipeline. You can go to the next slide. We are 10 years in, so we launched in 2016, and the evidence is strong. All of our programs are independently externally evaluated, and the camper evaluations show measurable gains in the important factors: STEM identity, self-confidence, and career interest. We have a remarkable retention rate of 55% plus of our campers return, and our alumni are returning as mentors. So the pipeline is feeding itself. One of my pictures is not on here, but that's okay. This gal, her name is Kai. She attended camp for 3 years. We can go back. She attended camp for 3 years. And since we're in our 10th year, we created a STEM Hero program where we are now spotlighting girls who are alumni who attended the program in the past, sort of where are they now? There was a picture of the STEM Hero card on this slide, but it's not there right now. The important thing to take away from this slide is this program has been federally validated. So in 2020, the Department of Defense awarded, with 4 years of evaluation data, they awarded our program a $2.77 million grant to replicate the program across the country to 11 states from Alaska to Texas, New Jersey to Washington State, Wisconsin, et cetera. And this was a significant validation of the program as a workforce model. The Department of Defense is one of the largest employers of STEM professionals in the country. You can, next slide. So this program it has been validated. It's been validated by external data. It has been validated by the Department of Defense investment, and it's ready to continue to scale. The infrastructure is transferable. You need a convener, some industry partners, and proven curriculum. We've proven that we're able to reach diverse communities. The Department of Defense sites were all co-ed. It works in urban, rural, and military-connected communities with girls and co-ed environments. iBio is available to partner with new sites. We offer all of the curriculum, training, administrative support are available in person, online, synchronously, asynchronously. We really have created a robust program that is ready to scale. And the last thing I'll say, which I'm preaching to the choir here, but the talent gap is not going to close if our workforce strategies start at 18 or 16, right? We really have to reach them in this critical window where they see themselves as scientists and they, overcome challenges and can really see them working in these fields. Thank you so much. Happy to answer questions.
Yeah, we'll definitely dive into some questions. It's a great program, as you know, I'm familiar with it, and it's amazing to see that impact and also the call that you're looking to partner with other sites. That's outstanding. So we're going to fly on over to Oregon now and hear from Shelley Ryder, who is the Community Engagement and Workforce Development Manager with Oregon Life Sciences. Shelley advances career awareness through innovative tools, partnerships, and programs designed to connect students to opportunities in the life sciences. All right, so I'll turn this over to Shelley and we'll go to her first slide.
Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. I'm going to focus on the pathway of how we've created this program. So go ahead and go to the next slide. Oregon's Life Sciences Early Career Program started in 2022, and where I was a volunteer. And then with my executive director, we wrote a state grant that created a state-registered biomanufacturing apprenticeship in Oregon. And that goal was to bring underserved populations into the life science workforce pipeline across the state. This allowed me to be hired as the community engagement and workforce development person, and also for us to hire an apprenticeship director. And then together we wrote another grant that resulted in $2.5 million that's allowed us to work with industry and community-based organizations to really create and participate in a variety of early career initiatives to raise awareness of the life science industry across the state through these community-based organizations, CBOs, and schools. And as mentioned, through the grant, our key targeted audiences are low income, students of color, girls, and the 9 federally recognized tribes. This is the vocabulary from the state of Oregon. And this means that we have developed relationships with the CBOs like TRIO, MESA, STEAM, and STEM programs, potentially in your state, along with Latino Network, Urban League, and the tribal organizations. And they're super excited about bringing new awareness of career opportunities that for their community participants. So it's been very easy to connect with them. Next slide, please. I think it's really important that we talk about our state. So the state of Oregon is a very large state land-wise, but with a very small population that's concentrated in one urban metro area, a smaller frontier kind of city, town, Bend to the down to sort of in the center. And then we have another hub of university concentration to the south. And so this results in very different culture in each regions and potentially also challenge to sort of access them with our highway system. So our life science industry is also very diverse in each region. And so also, though we have some big names in our state, our companies are actually mid to small, and a lot of them are actually headquartered outside, which means that there's not as many jobs as we, in comparison to other large states like potentially Ohio, New York, Massachusetts. So our goal was really not only to build awareness of the field, but also connect the companies with their community partners in regions to create this kind of regional awareness and community. Next slide, please. And then what our secret sauce is basically building trust. So we have found that we meet with people personally to learn who they are, what they're doing, and how we can serve them, even necessarily when it doesn't serve them directly. This is crucial. So instead of going to them and saying, hey, we have this really great idea, and telling them how to use it, we went to them first before we had anything, learned about them, asked what they were needing, learned about where they are, especially culturally, regionally, etc. And then this relationship allowed us to then return to them and say, hey, here's how we can work together. Next slide. Oh, sorry, that's not the next slide. But anyway, I will leave there, and then we can talk about the different tools that we use when I actually am talking in the panel. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Shelley. Very, very innovative. We're going to hop over to back to the center of the US, back to Ohio now, where we'll have Angie McMurray, who's Director of Industry Engagement and Workforce Development with Ohio Life Sciences, talk about their BioPathways program. This is a statewide initiative connecting industry and education to build a clear, scalable pathways into life science careers. Take it away, Angie.
Thanks, Maria. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and happy Friday. So one of the reasons that Ohio has focused on this is that if you ask a student or your kiddo or your grandkiddo, and even most adults, to name 3 life science careers, not including healthcare, most of them can't do it. And most adults can't do it. That we go with the phrase, they don't know what they don't know. Next slide, please. The data is real and relevant, and I'm very grateful to this organization's taxonomy report that has provided some insight for the state of Ohio. Great things are happening, and we are celebrating those every single day. But the community knowledge and the knowledge within our younger populations is absolutely missing. Many of our students have to overcome the imposter syndrome of not seeing someone that looks like them within the industry and not being exposed to that. We don't have the corner pharmacy down the street anymore. And sometimes very young children get scared by someone in a white coat, and that stays with them for a very long time. Next slide. We know that teachers are the front line of our workforce pipeline. They reach between 50 and 250 students every single day, year after year after year. And we know that sometimes those educators themselves don't know what they don't know and what is new and innovative within the biotech, farm tech, life science industry. And so what we have done is created a program to give them the tools and the confidence without being a burden, because we know being an educator, you're juggling lots of things, including your curriculum and having to adjust to all of the daily routines of being an educator. And also making sure, just like Anne said, those connections to industry so that it's real, not only for the students, but for the educators themselves. So our program is called BioPathways, and we've only been doing this for 1 year. I can't believe it's been a year. If you go back, Martin, if that's possible, sorry. We've only been doing this for 1 year, and we have been developing and facilitating BioPathways, and we are excited to continue to grow this. And today I'm going to share with you our website. I think it shows probably the best information and information that you all can access on your own. And Martin, if you don't mind pulling up our website. So here we go, drum roll. So our website has been developed with a partnership with an organization that is helping to facilitate our workshops. It's called Education Projects. And if you don't mind just kind of scrolling through, you can see that we have just the first page right there. So you can see that our main goal is to bridge that gap between industry, community, education, secondary education, higher education, those students in career technical education, and those that are looking for something after they graduate from high school. We want to help those educators know what those paths are. And so you can see we've been collecting data over the last year. We've had over 400 educators be a part of our network. We had our very first virtual field trip with our partners at AtriCure, and over 6,000 students registered for this. We had no idea the impact that this virtual field trip would have. And there are 88 counties in the state of Ohio, and already in 1 year, we have directly impacted 47 of the 88. So we're coming, we're getting there. If you scroll down just a little bit. We're very lucky to have our amazing industry partners that when called upon, they show up. They show up to host our BioPathways events and provide space, provide tours, provide their professionals come and have lunch with our educators so that, again, those people become more real for the educators. They also help to vet a lot of our curriculum so that, again, we know that these are real skills and things that they will see within this industry. And if you scroll just a little bit more, Martin. So these are our main goals of the program: free, hands-on, industry-informed lessons. They are all aligned to the Ohio content standards for science. We are working on connecting them to the next generation science standards so that they can be turnkey no matter where you are living. We have teacher workshops across the state. So we try to hit all four corners and central Ohio. And then the main focus is that our educators will go back in the classroom. And when they're teaching the content and having those conversations with their hundreds of students that they interact with, they are knowledgeable and fluent on telling them what is available in this industry for when they graduate from high school, whether that's college bound or career bound. And if you scroll down just a little bit, Martin, all the way to the end. Keep going. Sorry. So we want to make sure that everyone knows about our available workshops. So if you know someone that lives in Northwest Ohio, we have our next workshop May 7th, and we have our Central Ohio workshops in June. And again, this is our beautiful new biopathways focused website. And we hope that you go to that website for more information. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angie, and congratulations on the new website. I know that is no easy feat getting these things built out. And once again, that URL is biopathways.science. And we'll drop it in the chat. And again, this is being recorded, so you'll be able to get back to it. So we're going to pivot back west once again and welcome Ying-Sue Lo with the Executive Director of the Bay Area Bioscience Education Community. And since that's a mouthful, we like to call it BABEC, where she leads efforts to equip high school educators with curriculum, tools, industry connections needed to bring biotech into classrooms. So Ying-Sue, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Maria, and thank you, LSWC. So thank you for saying the long words of BABEC. I always screw over that too. So next slide, please, Martin. Okay, I'll start off with the impact of our programs annually. We work with over 100 schools and 200 teachers and 15,000 students. And I want to start off with this because it is so important to recognize that teachers are really the core of what we do, and they are our most important multiplier. Because without them, it would be very hard to scale up what we do with this many students. And those 15,000 students are unduplicated. And for each one of the students, work with at least 3 of the BABEC labs and their hands-on labs. So that's another important point is that these teachers are able to bring in biotech to their classroom. Next slide, please. So BABEC is a 30-year-old nonprofit. We started with teachers, by teachers, and this year is our 30th anniversary. If you're in the Bay Area, we will be celebrating September 19th. So let me know if you're in the area, you're invited. So our mission is to inspire all students to engage in science by empowering teachers. And you can see that there. So we were founded by teachers in the Bay Area and we received a seed grant from Genentech. The teachers decided that they really needed to introduce biotechnology to the classroom very early on. And in many ways, we've been working with them for for 3 decades, and they still continue to incorporate the biotech lessons, even when the first teachers have left and retired. So we're very lucky in our area here. And the idea is also on shared resources. I hear about Angie's shared resources and Shelley's resources and Anne's shared resources as well. As you can hear, this is a theme here. We are all very invested in helping the community with bioliteracy, with increasing awareness of biotechnology all over the nation. So this is our passion. Next slide, please. So BABEC is based in California, in Northern California, but we have constituents all over the United States, and we're starting to gain them also internationally. So what you see here are many of the teachers have gone into our open source lessons so that they're able to access those lessons, and many of them are also able to purchase our reagent kits to make it easier to teach the hands-on lessons. Next slide, please. So just a little background about what we do as BABEC. We have curricula that's free, open source, online. Go to babec.org. You just need to sign in and register, and that's also free. What we do also is that we make and design reagent kits that go with our lessons. so that the teachers are able to combine the two and teach it very easily to their students. If you're lucky in the Bay Area, we also do equipment kit lending. So we have a van that do logistics to move our equipment around. We work a lot with the eighth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade teachers who don't necessarily incorporate biotech in every single unit of their teaching scope and sequence. So we use the shared resources model so that they're able to use the equipment when they are covering biotech, and it could be over several units, and then they return it back to us. We make sure it's working for the next teacher, and we make sure it's clean. And then so we send it out. And the teachers love this because they don't have to worry about broken equipment. They don't have to worry about refreshing the equipment. And so through this method, we're able to reach hundreds of teachers per year and thousands of students per year. Um, and one of the fun things that we do, which we love, is professional development. We work with teachers in a class. We train the teachers either in a day-long workshop, a district-provided workshop, and what we've been doing lately are 3-day boot camps, which the teachers go from not having any skills to being proficient in uh, um, um, casting agarose gels and running gels and analyzing gels and all the way to PCR. So to see the transformation from a teacher who is not comfortable or confident in teaching biotechnology to someone who says, yeah, I can do this tomorrow, really makes a difference in the way that we're approaching our methods of raising awareness. Next slide, please. So this is just an idea of the types of kits that we have. So Julio here, you see he's our logistics coordinator. Our kits are modular, so they're very easy to move around and to go from classroom to classroom. And then our lab kits, as you can see, are nicely labeled. And you can see our intro labs are also very color-based, so to make things more interesting for the students. And they're also low cost. We're able to work with companies to give us low cost reagents, and then we pass that low cost down to the teachers themselves. Next slide, please. One of the most important things we provide are curricula that's open source. So I have only 6 people on our staff, and 2 of them are credentialed teachers. One is our curriculum expert, Elizabeth Robertson, and the other is our practitioner, which I call practitioner because he also moonlights teaching a dual enrollment class in biotechnology, and that's Michael Fuller. And so what we've created as a team are lessons that are engaging for the students, as you can see, bottom left there. Uh, who doesn't care about hair products, right? And then on the right there, you see these student guides or student worksheets that help the teacher teach the subject that coincide with the slides. So the teachers can take this, they can teach it just right as it is, or they can change it to differentiate their teaching. Every teacher knows their student the best, and we don't tell them, well, you should do this or you should do that. So they're going to change the way they like it and then teach their students the way they see the best. So we really think that this is one of the best ways to engage the teachers because it is editable and we make it so that they can change things and make it successful for them in the classroom. Next slide, please. The other thing that we do is to provide lab kits or lab preps that make it easier for teachers to teach. So what you see there, it's very simple. We just take a picture of how each group should be set up. And not only is this helpful for the teachers, but they can ask their students to set it up for them. So now they're gaining another set of skills in learning what these equipment are called and helping their teachers set up for them so that it takes a lot of the effort off of the teachers. We all know how much time and effort it takes for the teachers to set up biotechnology lessons. We have the equipment, we have all these consumables, we have reagents, we have 30 to 35 students per classroom that they have to get ready for. And in our classes, only have a 5 to 10 minute changeover. So having your students help you is really key to having the teachers being successful too. The other thing we do is that we have protocols to help this. Oops, yes, thank you, Martin. Protocols that the students can also engage in. So what we have heard, especially like in college too, is that the academic classrooms may not teach students how to read protocols. So they start off very early here 8th, ninth, 10th grade in learning how to read protocols and how to follow those directions. And that's super helpful when you do get to the higher level stages. If you're going to in a higher level biotech course or going to college in a biotech program, that they actually know how to follow what the instructions say. Next slide, please. Our last bit here is professional development, and you can see a couple of the testimonials that we have. The picture is from a boot camp that we've had in Southern California. And we've started to have boot camps all over United States, actually. We started in Maryland, and we've had it in Nebraska, and we would love to go elsewhere as well. But we have a 3-day boot camp where we are, again, teaching teachers in how to pipette all the way to PCR. And more importantly, too, what are the tips that we can give them to make their lab successful? The teachers love it because they start feeling like a student again, and we can talk about what went right, what went wrong, how they would change the way they would teach even the labs. We're teaching them one way. The teachers are all professionals and they know what they're doing. So we let them figure out, oh, I would teach it this way if I was teaching my class. So we have a lot of discussions like that, and we also give them time to see where they can implement these lessons. And that's key because having a workshop is nice and we all feel good afterwards. But helping them see where these lessons can fit within their scope and sequence is key to having them implement. And the other thing is that we work with our National Center for Biotechnology Education out at Austin Community College, is that we are given a grant to also provide the teachers with stipends for attendance and for implementation. So we see their time as important, we see their knowledge as important, and we want to make sure that they are shown, that appreciation by giving them a stipend and also credits for graduates credits for a salary spike if they interact with us in terms of coming to our boot camps and also implementing the lessons. I think that's the next slide. Okay, so I don't want to talk about this now. I will just go to the lessons and then we'll go to this if we have questions regarding any of the subjects that Maria has to ask. So,
Sorry, coming off mute. Great, thank you. Well, we're going to move into the Q&A portion, and we might flip back to some slides. We do have a number of questions in the chat. I'll just point that out to our our panelists if you want to directly answer anything. But let me first start. I want to go back to Anne, and I am going to note, I believe, Anne, you had one question. I'd love to get your reaction because it's someone in your neighborhood. Greg asks or states, it's not just girls' lack of confidence and participation in biotech, but all youth in tech, and it mentions Mensa. But I thought about, and it looks like he'd love to connect, but I thought you may want to just comment on why the focus around girls and just any reaction to that statement. No. You're muted, Anne. We can't hear you. Sorry.
I just said the most amazing thing. Okay.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Total wisdom being dropped. But no, I totally agree that there's we're at mission critical levels across all youth. Completely agree. However, when there's a problem across all youth, it impacts women, girls, and historically underrepresented minorities more significantly. So I think the lift is a little greater there. And also I would say that girls, one of the things that's been studied significantly is the peer pressure. And one of the things that I actually see it with my own eyes every year. It's not that, girls want a sense of belonging. There's that is a critical factor with girls and women. I mean, with all people, but that is a really important part of their feeling like they can do it. They can participate in STEM, and STEM is a field that will embrace them. So.
No, that's great. And obviously that's a whole conversation in and of itself.
Yeah.
And, you've had a lot of traction in this space, but it sounds like you have a connection there to follow up on. I just ask you one other thing while you're off mute. What has surprised you most about how young students are engaging with the concepts around biotech over your 9 years of doing this now. So I think it's fine. Yeah.
I think so our camps are really focused on design and build, because if they can show you what they've done, and also areas of STEM where there isn't a great deal of background knowledge required, we can kind of get them up to speed in the STEM area, and then they can do a design build. They can build something that they can show their parents. They have this sense of accomplishment because they have something tangible that they can show. And so we focus on areas, we will touch on, say, biotechnology, but in terms of its enabling technology, we focus on areas that don't require a significant amount of background knowledge, so that it's not school, right? It's camp. It's supposed to be fun. And so I think the thing that has surprised me most, kids, especially at this grade level, they quickly abandon, that science is hard and they just want to do it, and they're fully immersed and engaged in it as soon as you remove like test and grades and all of that stuff. They're just having fun, and they're really they're also realizing, because they are learning by doing, they're learning that when they fail or something doesn't work out right, it is just a stepping stone to a more enduring success. And our industry volunteers, are a key component of getting them to absorb that message that like failure is just one step of the process. And so it's not a terminal point.
No, that's great. That's great. And I'm glad to see so much success where you are. It's a great best practice. So Shelley, and please advise if we want to switch to some of your slides here. You've been leveraging a variety of tools and platforms to expose students to the field of life sciences. What are some of those resources, and maybe also, and talk a bit about these initiatives and how you make them feel tangible and accessible?
Yeah, thank you. I think the really key thing that we've learned is you've got to meet youth where they're at. We have really tried to think about what their situation is. And so we're super excited that we were very early on able to connect with Tina Zwolinski at Skills Gap. She helped us create a state personalized, free to use game based platform where students and community-based kids can customize avatars, build skills, and explore the life science skills, all while having fun. And so they can use it at schools, they can use it at events, and it can also be taken directly into communities, like to use because it can be played on Chromebooks or phones. And this allows students to see themselves in a job and also self-determine what they enjoy doing while learning like vocabulary and math sciences. So it's skills building, but at the same time, there's a career fair built into it. So while they're actually achieving all these fun, like you've done this and you've done that, it actually in the game says, if you're really good at this, you could be doing a job in Oregon at this company making this amount of money. And oh, by the way, here's the educational path that'll get you there. So super excited. I have information at the end where you can connect with Tina and Skills Gap to learn more about how you could bring this to your state. I've also been in the last year working with Bob and Stacy at Start Engineering to create this fabulous Biotech Revolution book. It's both a booklet and an electronic link that's, again, designed specifically for your state. And they have really stimulating visuals that pull youth in by connecting them on the issues that they are passionate about and matter to their community. And then it builds curiosity and confidence on how they can see themselves, and also, again, same kind of way, learn the path, educational path on how to get there. And then it also is kind of a bonus because it really works with parents, so that parents can be able to flip through the book and say, oh yeah, there's more than healthcare, there's more than engineering, like it can bring things together. So super excited. And then what we did, we put Rad Lab on the back cover of the booklet itself, so that when we pass it out, we get both. The thing that's important about this booklet is that it's not like just something that you give to students. It's absolutely something that you want to have in an instructor led. So it really works. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's wonderful. Terrific. And that link will be, you can find that on their website to be able to then, like I said, engage. Thank you. And then the next tool is called Innovate
Just a
Bio.
quick question on
Oh,
that
yeah,
tool, Shelley, because I think
please.
you split over it.
Yeah.
You designing this specifically for your states, you're doing
Yep.
it for Oregon. Is this something that other organizations could take and do and brand under their banner? Okay, excellent. Thank
Exactly.
you.
All of these tools, like, thank you for clarifying that, Maria.
Mhm.
And I apologize for rushing. We just have so much information, and I
No,
want
I
to
know
make
we
sure
do.
we have time for Q&A. But all of these tools absolutely can be used personally for your state. And so I've connected, there's a slide at the end so that you can reach out to Bob and Stacy and Tina to be able to figure out how this can be used for you particularly, because that's
Thank
what's
you.
fabulous. It really is just, regionally, etc. And then Innovate Bio is our National Center for Biological or Biotechnology Education and Workforce Development. And I hope everybody has a chance to, visit this site. It's wonderful support for teachers to show a multitude of job descriptions and sample classroom activities and inspiration for like just the field. Because I think it's one thing to be able to understand what's going on. It's also really important to know how a student can get there. And teachers really need these resources in the classroom to be able to like bring it all together. And so in terms of like what's working and how we roll it out, next slide, please. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So what we have found is that, a press release alone and just letting people know is not enough. And so what we've done is we've really, you have to identify champions. So we identify champion teachers who are bringing it into the classroom and also the CTE leaders. What's really resonated for us is partnering with aligned organizations that share the mission. So we're showing up at a lot of career fairs and sharing it with activities that they're already doing. One of the things we're also doing is running competitions, especially with Rad Lab. They provide us this opportunity to sort of get kids playing or teachers using it, and then the prize is being able to use the Start Engineering so that teachers are able to share it. But anyway, just really a lot of collaboration. Next slide, please. This is kind of what it looks like when we show up at a career fair. So we table, you can see on the table, we have the booklet out there so that kids can come up and go, oh, I didn't know that this had anything to do with life sciences. It really engages them in a conversation. Like if you're passionate about something, did you know you could actually get a job in this? They had no idea. Rad Lab is there that they can actually like have a QR code where they can start playing it. We have some chips on the table. We, just kind of pull them in. We wear t-shirts. We also have, you can see this career card at the bottom. That's like our really, our takeaway for them. We have our, what do you call it? Our website that has all these tools on it, but we also have the QR code on the back. Here's a poster sometimes that we use for, again, to play. And then what we also try to do is table with other folks to give them a bigger picture. So, we try to table with our community college that has this program. We bring in companies to our events so that students can see the whole picture, and that really engages them. So you can see just the, kids really like this. Next slide, please. And then beyond like the classroom and beyond this, I just wanted to tell you some wins to sort of inspire you as well. So one of the things that we've done, particularly around like our native tribes, which is really important for us, is we've brought companies to their career fairs. This has not happened before. And so that really, again, we brought the tool for awareness. We have the company that validates this. There's also a community college on site. So again, like they can feel themselves, then it's this personal trust relationship So really excited about that. We do industry bus tours, and we do this in collaboration with our university, and we invite high school students and CTE programs to participate on it. So you can see here where they're like dressing up and they get to feel that experience. So that really turns it into a something they can feel. We also try as much as we can to get companies to collaborate with our CBOs. So we were responsible for getting Genentech to sponsor an Oregon Mesa Science Day, which is focused. So that's very exciting. We were able to get some other company funding to provide a van, like they literally got a whole van to be able to do camping trips and some other things for an organization. And then thanks to Angie and I, like I saw this, inspiration. I saw that they have been working with their children's science museum. So we now have used that inspiration and we're creating our own exhibit there to bring life sciences exploration to the.
And you keep saying we, Shelley. How many people do you actually have helping you do this?
Um, we are a solid, mighty group. I'm mostly leading it, but I certainly have the support of our whole team. There's 4 of us.
There's 4 of you. Yeah, that's what I wanted to get at. These are being done, and a lot of these programs driven by very small teams with a lot of community engagement, volunteerism, and everything. So,
That's right.
yeah, and Angie, I'm gonna pivot to you. You can pull a slide down for now, Martin. You have some questions in the chat, so I do want to bring that to light, but maybe while I pull those up, biopathways, I mean, y'all have significant state dollars. You've been building this really over the last year, really.
Yes.
And you have a lot of public investment to get this going and buy-in. But how is biopathways in this early stage working to bring together industry and education at a systems level? And what does it take to really align those worlds in your experience so far?
Absolutely. I've been in education for over 25 years. I was a high school classroom educator myself, went to a lot of professional development opportunities. And I think the biggest thing that we have to keep in mind with all of these programs is this sustained partnership and sustained funding. And that has to come with not just educating our educators and those out there in the industry, but our community members, the person who you walk by every day at the grocery store, making sure that they understand. Because when communicating with our legislators, our economic development groups, our industry partners on why this is important, we need to sustain these programs. And that comes through knowledge. And so I think when both sides of industry, community, I'll throw in there, so all 3 sides, it's a prism. Education, community, and our industry partners, when they treat it as a long-term system and not just a one-off program, not just, oh, I just go for a day and then I come back and that's it. That's when there's actual clear validated outcomes and we can start to see that long-term job readiness.
Great. Thank you so much. One other quick question from me, where are you seeing the biggest disconnect between students and learning what industry needs? And I realize that Shelley touched on this a fair bit, and so did Anne, but I didn't know if you wanted to chime in too.
Yeah, I think the biggest disconnect is how rapidly this industry is changing every single day. I saw a question in there about AI and
how are y'all incorporating AI? And I would pose that to everybody really, but yeah.
Absolutely. And, that's a challenge and we all have to figure out exactly how to do that. That comes from communication with our industry partners. How are they incorporating AI into every level of their workforce needs? Because once we understand that, then we can incorporate it within our programs and get that information out to the masses. And so, unfortunately, as rapidly as we are heading into the future, it creates more and more gaps. And so we need to make sure that we're having that systematic communication and constant communication. Our educators that participate in our programs, we are communicating with them every month with a newsletter. We are connecting them with industry partners so that they can build those mentorships. So when they hear something, see something, need something. They know exactly who to contact from that industry partner. And so we have to be adaptable. And with that, that means that we have to be adaptable to things that have always been done this way in education and industry and work through that together.
So before I pivot to Yang, but this actually might be to everybody. I see a lot of different ways it's being asked in the chat, and I'm so sorry there doesn't seem to be a Q&A option for everyone on this particular webinar today. So I apologize if I missed your question today, but I'm trying to capture this evaluation. I mean, Amanda asked, how do you accomplish tracking from teachers? Do you provide an incentive to have them complete a survey or finish a workshop or anything? I think another question is I'd like to really know more about pre and post assessment. Are you offering CEUs available to teachers? So that evaluation portion, and I would even ask that because we have our own program, but if you're working with students, are you tracking them long term? So I kind of pose that to everybody who may want to chime in. Yingsu, yeah, unmute yourself though. Yes, love your
Yeah,
feedback.
sure. So BABEC has several NSF grants, and part of that requirement are evaluators and evaluations. So we do get surveys data from our teachers as well as students. So for example, our 3-day boot camp or 2.5-day boot camp where teachers come, we do ask for how they're doing or what their situation is like, comfort and confidence in teaching, whatever they're teaching what they're seeing post workshop, but we also follow up with them post implementation. And in addition to that, once they have taught the biotechnology lessons, their students are also surveyed. So they also provide us with data in terms of science identity, knowing that they can do the science or even knowing what biotechnology is. And we have all that data that we provide as part of the NSF grants and part of our program. In terms of incentives for graduate units and whatnot, we also do that. So we do provide stipends for attendance and for implementation, and we also provide stipend graduate units, not just units, but graduate units. We work with CSU East Bay to do that. So
Okay.
I think it's really important that teachers get those units because it could give them a salary bump.
That's great. Good to know. Well, I mean, I'm going to leave that evaluation table question on the table here, but I want to continue with you, Yingshu. Your work focuses really on equipping teachers. How important is the teacher as a multiplier in this ecosystem, and what do you see teachers lacking the most?
So the data that I gave, it's like, well, one teacher in one school year could have up to 150 students.
Mhm.
Right. And I always like to go back to PCR, polymerase chain reaction. So that one teacher with 150 students per year, and if she continues or she or he continues teaching for the next, say, 30 years, that number definitely increases. And that's very important to us because by giving the teachers comfort and confidence in teaching biotechnology, and also it's not even just that, it's an awareness. So they need to be aware of the biotechnology workforce and industry as well. So they can bring in those stories to the students and make the students aware of what's going on. So we bring the teachers in as partners in this situation. We also partner with community colleges and their biotech programs, and we align the two so that they speak the same language, and many times they don't. High school, community college, they don't always align in terms of how they're speaking it, but they have a same goal, which is to
Mhm.
make sure that their students are successful. And so we try to bridge that with the two different programs.
No, that's great. And I'm going to keep going through this, but if anyone has any other comments, I like Rick's note, AI literacy alignment is key to life sciences workforce development, but AI fluency comes into the mix at a later time. So I think it's getting to the nuances of what nationally we want bioliteracy to improve, and that could be as simple as just general exposure and breaking down walls so people are less scared of it. And then the next phase might be getting into the weeds of things. So there's different efforts, and y'all are all at different phases of, in terms of grades of who you're working with and teachers and what different age gaps of who you're working with. So I think it's a bit nuanced with that, and I think we're all learning as we go, obviously, with this AI and as is industry as to how they're going to harness it, particularly in our regulated space. Um, I want to acknowledge, I was hoping Lisa might be able to come off mute. Let's see here. It was mentioned that Apprenti, the collaborative, nimble, and innovative bio have announced a formal approval and filing for national biomanufacturing technical standards with the U.S. Department of Labor. That's also a mouthful to say. Um, I don't know if y'all know enough yet, but they're asking about how this standard could potentially impact and support programs shared that you all run, or potentially any type of program having a standard. And as we know, I think those of us in the industry, there are not really nationalized, many recognized standards in our industry. So what's your reaction to having that type of standard approved, whether it impacts your program or just generally with your experience? That's to anybody.
Is that to anybody? Well,
Yes.
I'll tell you, I'm really excited. Ohio is a local control state. And so it's every single district, every single university, every single community college in the state of Ohio has their own ideas of what should be taught and how it should be taught. So I think the opportunity for consistency is absolutely amazing. And with consistency becomes deeper understanding, and I think even more support, because it becomes the state as a whole instead of just within my backyard. And so I think that when I've been working with Apprenti on some things in Ohio, and now it's here, I'm excited to learn how they're going to impact every single state, and then get everybody on board across the United States with the same standards. So many of our companies are not just in one state, and we need those individuals to be trained in those same exact skills to go. We want them to stay in our own states, but if they go somewhere else, we want them to take those skills and be confident as well.
Yep. Well, I know we're coming up on time, but any quick, less like 15-second last comments from Anne, Shelley, Sue, anybody?
Contact me.
Contact, yes. So
I do want to say one last thing that I think it was Anne who said this first. Maybe it was Shelley. Is that it's that creation of trust. I think that with all of us, we have strong partnerships with companies, with teachers, with students, and I think it's that trust that we need to build to keep this going, and how to show how important the work that we're doing is as well.
Definitely.
And
I
collaboration.
think that's cooperation. Yeah. And because I think cooperation, relationship building, and building trust actually answers some of these other questions. Often the industry will complain about no workforce, but the workforce says there's no jobs. And I think that really is a communication breakdown, and we all have experienced it. And I don't think anyone has a perfect solution yet, other than continuing to fight the good fight and develop good, impactful programs. I'll say another consistent theme that I hope the collaborative can continue to learn from our communities across the country and other partners. How do we assess, evaluate, and show that the juice is worth the squeeze, that we're creating the impact and we're following these people and they end up in a career. So that's something I don't think any of us have a perfect answer to, but we're always welcome to have ideas. Well, as we wrap up again, one last thing I'll mention. Nicole, you have a lot of great questions. I can't get to them all, but do cities, states, local communities offer incentives, grants, corporations? I mean, y'all are all funded in different ways. Angie's got a lot of state support. Some of us are grant funded by federal dollars, and others have a mix of all types of grants, industry, sponsorship to federal, state, and otherwise. But it really depends on what happens in your community and how your community works, frankly. Here in Georgia, we even have small grants at the high school level you can apply for at certain schools. So it's a diverse set of funding, and all the speakers here today can easily be found online, and we will have this recording and ensure y'all have contact information if you want to learn a little bit more about their programs and all the other programs they do that they weren't able to talk about today. But I appreciate everybody joining us. Thank you to our audience member. Huge shout out to Martin for navigating the back and forth on the slides. If you're able to share anything, please encourage you to go to our website and keep an eye out. If you're not on our email list, we'll do another one of these in a few months. And if you're not on our email, getting our emails, make sure you do. We do about monthly newsletter to highlight a variety of programs and efforts that are happening around the state as it relates to life sciences workforce. So if we take one thing away today, it's that early career awareness is not a nice to have. It's foundational to building a sustainable and future ready workforce in the life science sector. It's about exposure, it's about access, and ensuring that students, regardless of where they are, can see themselves in a career and understand the pathways to get there. As a national network, our opportunity is to really surface what's working, and I hope we've done that for you today, connect efforts across regions and help scale models that you might be able to build in your own respective state. So final call to action, stay engaged with us. Share that you participated today. Share the link if it was valuable. When we get it out to all our attendees, we will have the recording emailed to everybody and on our YouTube channel, and continue to integrate early career awareness into your own workforce strategies. With that, thanks again to our speakers, and thanks again for your leadership in your respective communities, and thanks for all for being a part of this important conversation.